Maya dragged herself up the front steps, her shoulders heavy after another long day at work. All she wanted was to take a shower, eat something simple, and sleep. This house, the one she worked years to buy for her parents, was supposed to be her safe place. But when she put her key into the lock, it didn't turn. She frowned and tried again. Nothing. The lock had been changed. Her heartbeat picked up. Maybe it was a mistake? Maybe someone broke in? She knocked gently at first, then harder. Mom. Dad. It's me. Open the door. After a long pause, the door opened only an inch. Her father, Harold, stood there with a cold expression she had never seen before. His eyes didn't look like a father's eyes. They looked like he was staring at a stranger. What do you want? He asked sharply. Maya blinked, confused. Dad, what do you mean? This is my house. I live here. Behind him, her mother, Denise, appeared. She crossed her arms, her mouth tight as if she couldn't stand the sight of Maya. You shouldn't come back here, Denise said, her voice flat and icy. You're causing too much tension in this house. Maya's breath shook. Tension? I don't understand. I just came home. Harold pushed the door a little wider, not to let her in, but to shove something out. 2 suitcases, her suitcases, dropped onto the porch with a dull thud. Her bags, her things, already packed. Maya stared at them, the world spinning. Why are my things outside? What's going on? Did I do something? Denise stepped forward, her voice rising so loudly the neighbors across the street turned to look. Get out. You're the problem here. We don't want this drama anymore. Maya felt her throat close. Tears stung her eyes, but she tried to stay calm. Mom, please. I bought this house for you. For both of you. How can I be the problem? Harold's jaw tightened. We don't care. We don't want you living here anymore. Leave before things get worse. The door slammed in her face. The sound echoed through the quiet neighborhood. Maya sank to her knees on the porch, her fingers gripping the handle of her suitcase, as if it were the only thing holding her to the ground. Her chest hurt, her breath shaking, her mind unable to make sense of any of it. Why were they acting like this? Why now? Why so suddenly? Neighbors stood at their windows, whispering as they watched her cry alone. Maya wiped her face and whispered to herself, there's something wrong, something they're not telling me. Her parents hadn't just kicked her out, they were hiding something. Something darker, something planned. And for the first time, she felt real fear settle in her heart. Maya had always been the hard-working one, the quiet child who tried her best at everything just to earn a small nod of approval from her parents. When other kids played outside, she stayed indoors finishing homework early so her mother would smile at her. When she brought home good grades, she waited for her father to praise her, even though he rarely did. She lived her whole childhood trying to be good enough, even when nothing she did ever seemed to please them. Her father, Harold, spent most of her childhood without a stable job. He jumped from one short-term job to another and often came home angry, blaming the world for his failures. He carried bitterness everywhere. Bitterness about money, about life, even about the success of people around him. That bitterness was something Maya grew up breathing in like air. Her mother, Denise, wasn't openly harsh. Instead, she used guilt like a quiet weapon. Every time Maya wanted something for herself, new shoes, a school trip, anything, her mother would say, we sacrifice so much for you. You should think about us too. Even when Maya was just a child, she felt responsible for her parents' emotions, like she had to keep them happy at all times. When Maya became older, she realized no one was going to save her. So she worked. She studied hard, won scholarships, and took part-time jobs just to afford college. While other students had support from home, Maya carried herself alone. She worked late shifts at a cafe, then stayed up even later studying. Sometimes she fell asleep on her textbooks, waking up with ink marks on her cheek. Her efforts paid off. She graduated with a degree in tech and slowly built herself a stable career. She got her first job, worked long hours, took extra classes, and accepted every chance to grow because she had one dream, one she believed was pure and loving. She wanted to buy her parents a home. All those nights she cried because she felt unloved. All those years she wished her parents saw her. She wanted to finally give them something big, something that would make them proud. She thought, maybe then they'll finally see how much I love them. So she saved. She took loans. She worked weekends. She fought for promotions. She sacrificed relationships, vacations, and rest. Everything she earned went into one goal: the house. When she finally bought it, she cried in the empty living room. She imagined her parents smiling, maybe hugging her for once, telling her they were proud of her. And at first, they were grateful. Or at least, they pretended to be. But slowly, things began to change. Harold and Denise started treating the house as if it had always been theirs. They told Maya when she should come home, when she should leave for work, and how she should spend her weekends. They demanded money for household things, but instead spent it on themselves. They began criticizing the food she bought, the furniture she chose, the way she lived her life. They even took over the master bedroom, leaving Maya to sleep on the couch for now. Though for now became months. Maya told herself it was okay. They were her parents. She wanted them comfortable. She convinced herself that love meant sacrifice. Her cousin Lena noticed the changes before Maya did. One afternoon, when Maya visited Lena after another exhausting argument at home, Lena gently said, "Maya, your parents aren't grateful. They're using you." Maya immediately shook her head. No, they're just stressed. Life has been hard for them." Lena sighed. "You always make excuses for them. But you need to open your eyes." Maya didn't want to. The idea that her own parents could take advantage of her was too painful to accept. She refused to believe it. Even when they started demanding more money. Even when they mocked her job. Even when they ignored her boundaries. She kept loving them. She kept hoping things would get better. But nothing prepared her for the day they changed the locks. The day they packed her bags without telling her. The day they told her she was no longer welcome. In that moment, standing outside her own home with tears in her eyes, the truth finally hit her. Lena had been right all along. They never valued her. They only valued what she gave them. And now that she had given them everything, they wanted even more. Maya's heart broke, not just because she was thrown out, but because she finally saw the truth she had avoided her whole life. Maya thought maybe her parents had acted out of anger the day they kicked her out. Maybe it was stress or a misunderstanding. A part of her still believed that if she talked to them calmly, they would let her come home, and everything would return to normal. So a few days later, she returned to the house. The door opened after a long pause, and her father stared at her with the same cold eyes. He let her inside only because she said she needed to collect some documents for work. The air inside the house felt tight, heavy. Her parents didn't speak to her. They watched her like she was an intruder. She tried to stay calm, reminding herself to breathe, to stay respectful. She went to the small desk in the hallway where her father kept random paperwork. She opened the drawer, looking for her old files, but something else caught her eye. An envelope with her name on it, but not in her handwriting. She pulled it out, and her heart froze. Inside were legal papers. Papers for a property transfer. Papers showing that Harold and Denise were trying to make themselves the owners of the house she bought with her own hard work. At first she thought it must be a joke, some kind of mistake. But when she looked closer, her stomach dropped. Her own signature was on one of the forms. A signature she never wrote. Her hands began to shake. She felt her breath slipping away as the truth hit her like a punch. This wasn't anger, or confusion, or stress. This was a plan. A plan her parents had made behind her back. A plan to steal her house. She turned around slowly, clutching the papers. "Dad. Mom, what is this?" Harold walked toward her, not guilty or embarrassed, but annoyed, like she had discovered something she wasn't supposed to see. "You weren't meant to go through that drawer," he said sharply. "That's private." Maya felt her voice crack. "You forged my signature. You're trying to take the house from me." Her mother rolled her eyes. "Stop being dramatic, Maya. We are family. Family should share everything." Maya stared at them in disbelief. "Share everything? The only person giving anything is me. I bought this house. I pay the bills. I take care of everything. What do you mean share?" Her father stepped closer, his voice lower and threatening. "You want control. You always want control. This house belongs to all of us. If you want peace in this family, you will hand over the deed." Maya felt something inside her snap. "Peace? You threw me out of my own home." Denise crossed her arms and spoke in a cold, sharp tone. "If you tell anyone about this, we'll tell the whole family that you're unstable, that you're disrespectful, that you hit us." People will believe us, not you. Maya stared at her mother, shocked at how easily the lies rolled out of her mouth, as if she had practiced them. At that moment, something inside Maya broke, but not in the way her parents expected. She didn't collapse. She didn't beg. She didn't cry. Instead, she felt a strange calm settle over her. A calm she had never felt before. It was the calm of someone who finally understood the full truth. They never loved her for who she was. They loved what she gave them. And now they wanted the last thing she had left. Maya folded the forged papers slowly and placed them back on the desk. She looked her parents in the eyes, really looked at them, and saw two people who would take and take until nothing was left of her. She took a deep breath. Okay, she said softly. If this is how you want to do things, then I'll handle it my way. Her parents smirked, thinking she had finally given up. But for the first time in her life, Maya wasn't acting from fear or guilt. She was choosing herself. She walked out of the house with a steady step, her heart pounding not from pain, but from clarity. She wasn't going to fight them with shouting or emotions. She was going to fight them with strategy. Quiet, strong, smart. And she wasn't going to lose. Maya stayed with Lena for a while, sleeping on her cousin's sofa, and trying to understand how her life had fallen apart so suddenly. Lena made tea, cooked meals, and tried her best to comfort her, but Maya still felt like her heart was bruised from the inside. She kept replaying the moment she found the forged papers and the way her parents had looked at her. Cold, greedy, and without even a little guilt. One evening, while Maya sat quietly scrolling through her phone, Lena walked in with a frustrated look. "You won't believe what I heard today," Lena said. Maya looked up, tired. "What now?" "Your parents," Lena sighed. "They're telling everyone in the family that the house is theirs. They're saying it was a blessing from God. A miracle they received after years of struggle." Maya stared at her in confusion. They're what? "They're bragging," Lena said. "Your mom even told Aunt Sheila that you had nothing to do with it, that the house came to them because they are faithful people." Maya felt her stomach twist. Denise had always used religion to get sympathy, to make people pity her. Now she was using it to erase Maya completely. A few days later, another shock came. Lena showed Maya photos from a relative's social media, photos of Harold hosting a small party in her house. He was smiling proudly, giving speeches, behaving like he was the rightful owner. Maya felt anger rise in her chest for the first time. They had stolen her home, humiliated her, lied about her, and now they were celebrating? "I need to go back," Maya said quietly. "I need some documents from my room." Lena looked worried, but she nodded. "Just be careful." When Maya arrived at the house, she used the spare key she had kept hidden. The moment she stepped inside, she heard her parents' voices from the living room. She froze when she heard her father say, "We need to change the locks again. She might have another key." Her mother replied, "Yes, this time, we make sure she can never enter again. Once we transfer the ownership, she's out of our lives." Maya felt her body go cold. They weren't just pushing her out. They were planning to erase every trace of her. She stepped forward, unable to stay silent. "So this was your plan from the beginning?" Her parents turned, startled for a moment, but quickly recovered. Denise crossed her arms. "How dare you enter without permission?" "This is my house," Maya said, her voice shaking with anger. Harold scoffed. "Not for long. You should be grateful we let you live here this long." Maya felt tears gather in her eyes. "I bought this house for you. I trusted you." Denise pointed at her accusingly. "Don't start playing victim. If you were a better daughter, we wouldn't have to take such steps." Maya felt like she had been slapped. They twisted everything, her sacrifices, her love, her pain, into something ugly. This was more than manipulation. This was cruelty. As she walked toward her old room to grab her documents, she opened the drawer where she kept her financial records. Her heart dropped when she saw the bank statements. Her savings account, the one she created to handle repairs, emergencies, and bills for the house, was almost empty. Thousands of dollars gone. Spent by her parents. Without her permission. Her knees weakened, and she sat on the edge of the bed shaking. She had worked overtime shifts, skipped meals, canceled trips, and saved every spare dollar. She had done it all for them. And they had taken everything. Not just the house. Not just her peace. But every piece of her trust. In that moment, Maya broke down completely. Tears poured down her face. She cried not only because of what they did, but because she finally understood something she had avoided her whole life. They never loved her for who she was. They only loved what she could give. After she left the house, Maya walked into a lawyer's office the next morning. She felt small, nervous, and unsure. But the lawyer listened patiently as she explained everything, from the house purchase to the forged papers. "You still own the house," the lawyer said firmly. "They cannot take it from you without your consent. What they're doing is illegal. And you have proof." For the first time in weeks, Maya felt a flicker of strength. The lawyer outlined her rights, the legal steps she could take, and what kinds of evidence would protect her. Maya listened carefully, silently, strategically. By the time she left the office, something in her had changed. She wasn't going to cry anymore. She wasn't going to beg. She wasn't going to let guilt control her. She was going to plan, quietly, wisely, and powerfully. And when she acted, her parents would never see it coming. Maya pretended to give up. She acted tired, defeated, and hopeless. Exactly how her parents expected her to be. She returned to the house one afternoon and told them in a soft, shaky voice, "Maybe you're right. Maybe I should just hand everything over so there's no more fighting." Harold's eyes lit up with greed. Denise almost smiled. "Good," Harold said. "You finally understand." They handed her a transfer document they had prepared. Maya looked at it calmly, pretending she didn't notice the lies written all over the page. She signed it slowly while they watched, proud of themselves. But what they didn't know was simple. It wasn't a transfer document. It wasn't giving them the house. It was a consent form for a forensic audit and a fraud investigation, created by Maya's lawyer. Her parents didn't read it. They were too excited, too sure of themselves. As soon as Maya signed, they started celebrating. Denise called relatives to brag. Harold walked through the house like a king, saying, "Finally, things will be peaceful." Maya stayed quiet, calm, patient. She knew what was coming. A week later, her parents went to the government office to file the ownership transfer. They walked in confidently, holding their stolen documents, ready to claim the house. But when they arrived, they didn't find an empty room. They found Maya standing there, with 2 investigators, a bank official, and her lawyer. Harold paused. "What's going on?" The investigator stepped forward. "We have some questions about forged signatures and unauthorized withdrawals." Denise's face went pale. "Forgery? What forgery?" The investigator pulled out the documents Maya had discovered in the drawer, the ones with the fake signature. "These were submitted as part of an attempted property transfer," he said. "We also have evidence of illegal activity with the household savings account." A bank official held up the bank statements. "Thousands of dollars were taken from an account that did not belong to you." Harold's face turned red, his voice rising. "This is ridiculous. She gave us permission." Maya stepped forward quietly. "I did." Denise tried to smile. "Yes, you did. You said we could use the money. You said the house was for us." Maya pulled out her phone and clicked play. The recording played clearly. Her parents' voices, their plans, their lies, their intentions to remove her permanently. The room went silent. Denise covered her mouth. "Maya, delete that, please. We didn't mean." Harold lunged forward, furious. "Turn that off right now." The investigator stepped between them. "That's enough. We have all we need." Denise began crying loudly, shaking her head. No, this can't be happening. We're good people. We're the victims here." Harold slammed his fist on the table. "Undo it, Maya. Tell them you made a mistake. Fix this." Maya looked at them, really looked, and saw 2 people who had never cared about her, only about what she could provide. "I didn't make a mistake," she said softly. "I finally made a choice." Harold's anger turned into fear. Denise dropped to her knees, begging, reaching for Maya's hand. But Maya stepped back. With calm, steady eyes, she said, "This house is mine. And so is my life. You can't take either from me." She turned and walked out of the office. Behind her, she heard her parents break down completely. Not from guilt, but because they realized they had lost everything. The house, their plan, their reputation, and the daughter they thought they could control forever. Maya legally evicted them. A painful but necessary step. She didn't feel proud when she signed the eviction notice. Her hands shook, and her chest felt heavy. These were her parents, the people she once trusted more than anyone. But they had crossed every line. And Maya finally understood that protecting herself was not wrong. It was needed. When the eviction date arrived, Harold and Denise refused to leave. They shouted, argued, and claimed Maya was ungrateful and heartless. They told neighbors lies, pretending they were the victims. But the law was clear, and officers arrived to enforce it. Slowly, angrily, her parents packed their things and walked out of the house. Maya watched from a distance, tears filling her eyes. It hurt deeply, but she stayed strong. She knew leaving them in control would only destroy her further. Once the house was empty, she stepped inside. The silence felt strange, but also peaceful. The place looked messy and worn down from months of stress and fighting. So Maya began to fix it, one room at a time. She painted the walls, repaired the broken shelves, cleaned every corner, and replaced things that reminded her of the pain. Little by little, the home began to feel new. Little by little, so did she. Maya moved in alone. For the first time in years, she had her own space, her own decisions, her own life. Some mornings she sat on the floor with a cup of tea, enjoying the quiet she had never felt before. She thought a lot about her childhood. The pressure, the guilt, the endless need to earn love. She realized her parents had passed down their trauma, expecting her to carry their burdens. She had spent her whole life sacrificing herself just to keep them happy. But now she finally understood. Love is not proven by pain. Love is not proven by giving everything. Real love needs respect, balance, and care from both sides. Her extended relatives tried to guilt-trip her. They said things like, "They are still your parents, and family comes first." But Maya didn't let their words break her anymore. She calmly told them, "Family doesn't give you the right to destroy someone's life." Then she stopped answering messages that tried to shame her. She started therapy, learning how to heal and how to build healthy boundaries. She opened new savings accounts, but this time for herself, for her future, for her dreams. For the first time, Maya wasn't living her life for others. She was finally living it for herself. Maya sits in her living room, quiet morning light filling the space. For the first time in years, the house feels calm. No shouting, no fear, no pressure to please anyone. Just silence, and her own breathing. She makes a cup of tea and opens the curtains. Sunlight warms the floor. She smiles a little, a small, gentle smile she hasn't felt in a long time. Just then the doorbell rings. When she opens the door, she sees an envelope on the mat. No name, no decoration, just her parents' handwriting. Her heart tightens. She sits back down on the sofa and slowly opens the letter. Inside, her parents write that they are sorry. They say they didn't mean to hurt her, that everything got out of control, and they hope she understands. But as she reads, the words feel strange. Some lines look like guilt. Some look like excuses. Some feel like they want her sympathy again. Maya closes her eyes. For the first time, she does not react with anger, or hope, or pain. She simply breathes. She folds the letter neatly and places it in a drawer, not in the trash, not in her heart, just away. Somewhere it can't control her anymore. She stands, walks through the quiet house, and touches the wall gently. This home, once a battlefield, now feels steady, warm hers. Her voice comes softly, almost like a whisper to herself. This house finally feels like home. The camera holds on her peaceful face. Not because everything is fixed, not because forgiveness is simple, but because she finally chose herself. And that choice changed everything. Hey besties! Thanks for watching all the way through. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more stories. See you next time.